So, welcome back to the Real Flex podcast. We've got an interesting guest on today. He's already been smashed at golf, right? Which is what you would expect for a United fan, so we're doing all right. He's used to that. He's not too unsettled. How are you today?
I'm very good, my man. Thanks for having me on, other than the golf.
Travelled a good way for us, so I appreciate you coming. So with Christian, I was worried about him saying certain things. I'm just worried about you in general, so let's see how this goes. Hopefully this is the one and only take. So I'm going to start with a question from Christian. What has been the hardest thing, and we will ask you to ask the next guest one of these, what's the hardest thing you've gone through that has helped you to this point? Maybe when you were going through it you didn't think it was going to help, but it did.
So looking back now, I think the time that I did a bungee jump really helped me just learn how to take risks and how to just fucking go after shit, because what's the worst that's going to happen? I didn't die doing that when I probably thought I was going to, and I didn't, and it was class, and I did it again. So from there, just the ability to take risks and go after shit.
We kind of unintentionally spoke about this earlier while we were getting coffee, and I thought your answer was really authentic. You said something else, so I think chime that in here, because a lot of people that I speak to maybe create this story that's it sounds good on camera, but I think authentically the reason I wanted to speak to you is you just always, I know I'm going to get the same person here as what I get on Messenger and now what I've had in person, so run me through what you said earlier. What were the two things?
So it was that one, and the second thing was I've had quite an easy life, not much stress. The only thing that's really kicked me in the bollocks and really had me quite down for a period of time was losing my dog, because fucking love dogs, and if you don't, pedo.
First buzzword.
But no, it just really took the wind out of my sails and was like my first sort of exposure to feeling pretty fucking shit. And then going forwards, now, like, if I'm stressed about whatever, work or general life, I'm like, ain't that fucking bad, right? I've felt worse, and I genuinely felt bad then, whereas now I'm like, I'm in quite a luxurious position where I'm stressed about having a good workload with clients. Who fucking cares about that? You know, deal with it.
Yeah, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
I think as well, it's like easy for us as coaches to then empathise. It doesn't mean that we've been through the same situation. So like this week I've spoke to people that have got family members that have passed away, people that have got bad cancer diagnoses. Doesn't mean that you've had to experience those things, but having the emotion of like, I know what it feels to be down, I know what it feels to be high, I know what it feels like to be stressed with work. I don't think you need to manufacture this like world where everything's gloomy and everything's bad and you've experienced everything bad. So I think that's a nice authentic answer from you. To pull you on to next topic, you did a slight bit of like Baywatch trials. You're a bit of a swimmer. So I know that was kind of probably your first experience with exercise, maybe I'm assuming there. Run us through that sort of period of your life, being younger, sports and swimming.
So basically from the minute my mum plopped me out, I've been doing sport. I've been playing football, I've been swimming, and I grew up as a national athlete. I was ranked 5th in the UK for swimming. I went to nationals multiple times, and this for me is probably the most valuable thing that I've ever done, because I had to work really fucking hard to get what I wanted. I was waking up multiple times a week at 3:50 in the morning, going to swim for 2 hours. In my sort of break at school, I'd be in the gym, and then in the evening I'd swim for another 2 hours. And I was obviously in school on top of that. So I was leaving home at like 4:30 after getting up at 10 to 4, and getting home at 10 o'clock at night. So now when I look at anything, it's pretty easy compared, because I don't have to put in the same amount of hours as I did then, because with swimming, you have the whole pool hired that you have to be in at that specific time. The gym, for example, you can go when suits you.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in there at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? But going through that, like I said, it was so valuable for me to have the exposure to work really fucking hard, because I would see people moan that weren't doing very well, but then they'd be fucking around in there, not putting the effort in, fucking around with their goggles, scratching their ass, and then be like, well, I'm not winning anything because you train like a fucking knobhead. And I would be the opposite. I would work really fucking hard, and initially I didn't get what I felt I deserved because I was young. I hadn't had that growth spurt yet. And then as I hit 12 and I started to actually grow, my ability absolutely fucking skyrocketed, and I went from being a nobody to one of the best in the country in 12 months.
Okay. Not a national champion at crazy golf though. Still need to work on that.
I had a couple disappointing rounds, but I did get a hole in one.
You did get the only hole in one.
I did.
Didn't save you though, did it? Consistency, as we always talk about.
Do you know what?
Always beat talent.
If we had one more round,
I've been putting the grind in
Big Daddy was winning
on those mini golf courses. So the thing that I probably hear from that is maybe what you said at the start about life isn't that hard, and probably that early intervention. Probably that early intervention probably shaped the belief you have now about life being quite easy.
Absolutely. Like everything I do now, because of this as a kid, I just naturally will work very fucking hard because it's what I've always done, and as from the age of 9. So now when it comes to anything that I want, I know if I don't work with everything I've got, I'm not going to get what I want. And I might have a level of success in whatever aspect it is, but if you don't go balls deep and go really fucking hard to get the thing that you want, leave everything on the table, then why should you get the thing that you want? Because you've not worked hard for it.
So the question at the back of that is, most people or clients, anyone that's listening to this, might potentially not have that work ethic. Like when I hear that, kind of relate to it, not as much. Like I wasn't getting up at 3:50 as a toddler swimming, right? How do you think people can start to get small wins to start stacking that belief that they can do hard shit?
Do you know what? That's a really cool thing that you said there, because I think when I started coaching, at the very start, I found it difficult to understand why people found it difficult, because I'd always done that. So going through the COVID period and actually getting unfit for me was really fucking beneficial. Even though I felt shit at the time, when I went through that and I found things difficult, that gave me a new perspective to actually, like I said earlier, level with people, even though we've not necessarily experienced the same thing, to be like, okay, well, I can actually understand you now. Now, I think to answer your question with how can people start to compound wins, they need to have something that actually matches them. So they have realistic expectations, because what most people will do is they will try and go from 0 to 100. And they'll be like, right, I'm not trained. I've never been on a diet. And now I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. And I'm going to go on this really strict diet and then wonder why they fail. What people need to do is they need to build momentum and actually, over time, build to the thing that they want to do, right? So start small and work your way up. Start in gear 1, and whatever gear 1 is, it might look like something different from myself to you, but it has to reflect you as an individual. And if your gear 1 is you go out for a fucking walk to the end of the road and you turn around and come back, great. Yeah. Do that consistently, and then look at what the next level is once you've ticked that off.
Yeah, and I think that's super important, is because some people would probably listen to that first section and be like, I'm going to do what Connor does. I'm going to go 100%. They go 100% and then they go back to 0. Whereas I ask a lot of my guys, and this is probably similar with you because I know we've got similar sort of mentors, but what would 60% look like? If you just sat at 60% for the next year, you'd be 60% further down the line than if you do this sort of 100% monk mode for a week and then 6 weeks of doing fuck all and back and forth. Coming further down your timeline, there was obviously a section where you competed. I know there's some funny stories in there. I know you've already covered, if people want to come and listen to your podcast, the arsehole story. If they want to find out about that, they can come and listen to your place, and I'll give you an opportunity at the end to sort of tell people where they can find that sort of stuff. But give us another story, couple of stories. What comes to mind with the competing?
From competing. So competing was, because of the experience that I said I went through in COVID and getting unfit, was something that I really wanted to do just to give myself a bit of purpose again, because I'd always had this overarching goal of something to work towards, whereas this time I just had nothing. So I set my goals upon this and got really fucking lean and thought at this beginning, this is going to be great. This is going to be the thing that I want to do. But as I was going through this, I was like, life's fucking shit. You know, I didn't have a rock on for like 4 months.
Sounds fucking terrible already.
And even the thought of it, genuinely, like you feel so low because you're lean, you're not on much food, you're doing a lot of steps, a lot of cardio, that even the thought of getting a boner, mate.
You're probably in the perfect position as well to want to get one, right? I'm sure people were jumping at you.
I mean,
If they,
I was in a
so than
relationship already, so there did have to be a conversation there around the thought of having a boner makes me upset.
I just want to also clarify, like, people that just do normal diets, guys that listen to this, they're not going to experience that. This is like, we're talking real low body fat percentages, right?
100%. Yeah, this was sort of latter end, very, very lean, you know, energy super, super low. It's been a long period of time as well, so it's when you do a competition or photo shoot prep, depending on how lean you actually want to get, you are in a low body fat percentage for quite a sustained period of time. You only need to look the way you want to look for one particular day, but you have that sustained period where you are really low, getting lower to get to that end goal. So yeah, no boner for months. That was one.
We can't really go any worse than this now. At this point, we're just free to talk about what we want, right?
100%, yeah. Oh.
So we'll leave that. I don't want it to get any worse than that. To come back onto a serious note, was there any sort of beliefs that you thought that doing that would fix for you?
It had always been something I wanted to do beforehand, but what for me in that instance was I just want to be excited about training again, because I'd got unfit. I was going to the gym and I was thinking, this is fucking shit. I've just lost all drive and all motivation. And at the time I thought I need a big crazy goal to actually get excited about something. And it worked, but it only works whilst you have that goal there. And when that's removed, what the fuck do you do then?
Yeah.
You've got to be able to live without that big overarching goal at some point, right?
Yeah, I do believe that most men, or pretty much every man, needs something to strive towards. Obviously that was an extreme, but I think a lot of the mental health chatter comes from, and obviously I'm not a mental health expert, but for me, I think not having a goal and not having something to strive towards, as you've said, that was kind of an extreme for you, but finding something that's motivating. And then when people get to their end goals, I see a lot of this where people will just abandon everything, go back to old habits, whereas really they should then be setting to go up to the next goal and continue to do that. So that's probably quite an interesting topic we could go into. Where did training sort of start for you? What was the need there? Obviously coming out of swimming and going into that.
So coming out of swimming, I stopped because I fucked up my back. Basically, I have like muscular imbalances that cause my shoulders to drive forward. My upper traps are a lot more developed and a lot more strong than other areas.
I was going to say they're looking
fucking
good.
Buff, mate. Yeah. So I came out of that, and really, because I'd been doing this for so long, I looked like a swimmer, right? I was super fucking skinny, and sports-wise, I was great. I was fast, I was strong, even though I was a fucking twig. But aesthetically, I was super skinny, and all my friends were already going to the gym. They were bigger than me. They were physically stronger than me. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go to the gym. I need to do something, because fitness for me is, you know, it's a big value of mine. It's something that I love to do. So that's what really got me started, is because if someone did a big enough fart next to me, I could have fucking fell over, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was at. Like, I was surrounded by MMA fighters that were fucking ripped. I was tiny, like 58 kilos wet through, and I was like, I need to do something about this. So, me and Christian spoke the other day on the podcast about, like, your deficits will drive what you look for. So what you lack in is what you will go on to look for. So what you lack in childhood is what you will chase as an adult. I know you're a big traveller. You love being out and about. Do you think there was a deficit there when you were younger? You didn't maybe get out of Cornwall as much, or were you travelling a lot then? Run me through where the travelling comes from.
So I think it probably comes from when I was like competing in swimming, I was traveling all over the country. I went abroad competing, but my whole life was driven by competition, right? Competition and winning. So,
That must have really stung earlier then when I handed you that
oh
loss.
mate, don't
That's not
fucking hate
that's
losing.
going to be the thorough theme of this podcast is
He's a fucking loser
Connor
now.
being a fucking loser, and you support United, which
Oh, don't.
it's all just going wrong for you at this
Yeah,
point, isn't it?
I may as well just fucking give up. But yeah, so I feel like it sort of stems from having this whole overarching purpose to win as a kid. And then when I came out of that, like everyone was starting to drink at this point, and it was just like, fuck, I've got all these experiences that I can do. So it wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do as a kid. Like, I loved competing. I still love competition. But it was just that element of, I can do what the fuck I want. And for some reason, I'd always had an obsession about going to Australia. I think that sort of comes from my nan went there when I was a kid.
Okay.
And I was like, that sounds fucking awesome.
So there's like, one of your big values is freedom then, clearly.
100%. Yeah, just being able to do what I want.
Yeah, which comes from the swimming and probably not having as much freedom, being a bit more rigid. Do you think that is or will change?
No, I love it. I love being able to just do the things that I enjoy. You know, if I want to go and see a place, have an experience like last year, I was in the Philippines, we went to the Chocolate Hills, fucking unreal. And it's still something that I look back on now and I'm like, fuck, I'm so glad I did that. And just being able to have this bank of memories of just doing cool shit. Do you know what I mean?
The Chocolate Hills made my ears perk up in the middle of a diet. Is that like Cadbury's World? What was that? Run me through that.
Unfortunately, it's not physical Chocolate Hills.
Oh, I'm already lost.
Yeah, no, it's like these crazy natural, like, it's not mountains, but there's like hundreds of them, just mounds of earth, right, in this one area. And they're fucking unbelievable. And
What's caused that?
I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay, you weren't listening on the tour then.
It was a year ago. Like,
Okay.
give me a break, bro. But yeah, it was mad. There's like hundreds of them. It's crazy. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Take you on to a completely different topic here. A lot of people would have the perception, and this is kind of what this podcast is about, is like making people in fitness more relatable and understandable. A lot of people would probably perceive that you don't really have many struggles at the minute, which we've kind of covered. If you had to summarise what you struggle with at the moment, what are you sort of working through? Maybe it's not something that you're ready to talk about, but what's maybe something that you've not discussed publicly that you have struggled with or do struggle with?
Do you know what? The biggest thing that I struggle with has been the injuries to the back and the elbow, because I'm pretty fucking stubborn, right? And I enjoy training. I really enjoy it. And it's sort of taken away that element of enjoyment for me because I have to pull back, have to see the physio, do the boring shit of the physio, like managing those imbalances, and it's fucking slow and it's taken away the enjoyment. So when I'll be buzzing to get to the gym, get there, and it's like, fuck, this sucks.
Yeah.
Right? And going back to the competitive side of things, I don't like having a shit session. And I find that really like a kick in the balls. It's like losing at golf. It's fucking annoying.
So, a theory that I really love is like the Solomon's paradox, and I use that with myself. So, I covered this in the last podcast, so I won't bore people with it. But essentially, it's like people will always give other people better advice than they would ever give themselves. So, with what you're struggling on at the moment, what would you say to a client that was in the same position? And why don't you action that?
So I have actioned it now.
Okay.
Right, but what I would say is get the right help soon, because I did get help straight away, younger, but the help I got over a long period of time was crap. Right, so it just got to a point where I thought, I'm stuck like this forever.
Yeah.
Right, because I'd had a lot of help from lots of different people, and they'd all told me the same shit. Stretch. Fucking brilliant. Right, so
when you're already stretching probably 4 or 5 times a week in a deep stretch with loaded weight and squats and
So that just got, like I said, it got me to a point where I was like, oh, I'm stuck like this. And then I just sort of had an epiphany about a year ago. I was like, no, I'm going to try one more time, right? I tried to see this woman before, but she had a fuck off waiting list for a good reason, obviously, right? And this was sort of my last chance saloon. And she's massively helping me with my back, which is improving week on week, and I can finally enjoy training that bit more. The elbow, waiting on scan for, so that's sort of on pause at the moment. But it's just get the right help sooner, you know, because you can be helped. You just need to find that right person that can actually help you.
A story that I heard that explained this to my stubborn brain was like getting the right help is different to getting help overall, right? Is when we were both probably like 8, we probably had our first little girlfriend at school, right? And then we seen her kissing Timmy over in the corner and we're like, this bitch, I fucking hate women, right? Imagine now as fully grown men if we were like, Jessica at school, kiss Timmy, I'm never speaking to a girl again, right? It's the same, like, maybe you got help 4 or 5 years ago and it didn't work because they were basically shit. There's a lot of shit in the fitness industry, but then to go and, like you said, that's a really like relatable and understandable thing. If you're experiencing that as a coach, probably the people that are coming to you have experienced that, and that's something that I know from like understanding you. That's something that we have in mind when people are coming to us. They probably have had coaches in the past that have let them down. They've probably had experiences that just haven't worked, right? So I think that's probably another string to your bow of like, you understand how hard it is to ask for help because you've been burnt before, right?
100%. And that's what you just said there is something that I only really realised in probably the last like 6 months or so, how from my perspective, the struggles that I've had with my back, I can utilise that and speak to clients on a level that is the same as what they've experienced before. I mean, I've had poor coaching experiences before myself as well.
Come on, let's have a story out of that. Worst one.
Worst is literally just signing up, saying, right, this is what I want to do, this is what's going to fit for me, and then coming back and having the complete fucking opposite. It's like a vegan or someone who's got allergies saying to you, right, I can't eat this, and then you give them a fucking meal plan that's got all of those things. Like, fucking sound,
Well, it works
mate.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've got a peanut allergy, but I can, so why can't you?
You fucking pussy.
Yeah. Eat the peanuts. It's like it's like when people give themselves a milk intolerance from not drinking milk. Just eat the peanuts, you'll be fine.
Stop being a selfish cunt,
Really. Yeah. That's put one down on the cunt marker. That's the first one. So how are we doing for time, Owen? Yeah. Okay. Right. So we're going to take an intermission in 5, but I'm going to get this question in. On your stories the other day, you asked people what balance looked like. What does balance look like to you?
This is such a funny question, right? Because people have this perception of balance that it needs to be, you can't work really hard at this because that's unbalanced. But if that's the thing that you value, then what's the problem working fucking hard at it? Balance for me is being able to train really hard, work really hard, but also have a period of rest time, being able to do the other things that I enjoy, like the travelling. I like going out for food, I like watching the football, I like having a beer, right? As long as I can still do these things whilst working really hard, I'm great with that. You know, for me, a standard week, pretty normal, pretty standard to what most people do. I work really fucking hard Monday through to Friday, right? I train really hard, and then when it comes to the weekend, I still eat good quality food, I still stay on track with things, but I can chill out more. I can sit and watch the football without feeling like, fucking hell, I need to go back to work, because I've done the hard work in the week that I have no problem with doing either.
Do you feel like you can sit and watch the football at this point in the season? I don't even like football, I just like taking the piss out of people that do.
I'm calling it here. You heard it on this podcast first. United are winning the Europa League.
I don't even know what that means.
We are winning the Europa League. The fucking B-Tech shit Champions League. We're winning it. United, Spurs in the final, and Spurs, bunch of useless cunts, and we'll win that.
Ooh, it's like really decisive that I'm saying football shit, and then you've also gone real specific with anyone that's listened to this that's a Spurs fan is like these pair of cunts.
Come on, mate. Spurs. Why would anyone want to be a Spurs?
No, I had a question for you on the balance thing, but I think we've kind of gone off topic, so we'll cut into the next bit. Last question, this one's a quick one. What makes a good bromance? We've obviously been on a little day date today. What makes a good bromance to you?
Just having a good fucking chinwag, you know, not being overly serious, do you know what I mean? I think the cool thing with lads is we can talk about fucking anything, and it's like the best thing in the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, we could sit there and just name different types of beer, or like different podcasts that are fucking irrelevant, or memes, and it's just funny and a laugh.
Yeah.
And if you can have that constant flow of just shit, you're probably in a good place. And for me, this is a really important one. You can take the piss out of each other. Like, if someone's not ripping you, they probably don't like you. Do you know what I mean?
There's a story that I think one of my mates sent in me, and a boys group chat got leaked on a uni campus. So one of the boys did the cardinal sin and leaked the boys group chat.
No.
They all got suspended from the university. Like, that's how you ruin a bromance.
Yeah.
That's not.
That guy's a dickhead.
Yeah, what a dickhead. Like, probably what they were saying in there was wrong, but
it is in all of ours, though, isn't it?
yeah. So yeah, let's not leak our direct messages to each other. That's fucking awful. So we're gonna take a little intermission. You can chug your Monster, and I'm gonna take a drink, and then we'll come back.
Fuck roll. So, right, I'm gonna have a piss.
So you've just been to the toilet. Don't know what you've been getting on with down there, but I've just cracked a can of Monster, and you're saying that that's the best one, which is by a country mile fucking wrong. It's obviously Mango Fiesta, the white Monster. I don't even think that's fifth. There's that, then watermelon. They're the bottom two for me.
Wrong. So I did go and have a cheeky wank in the toilet.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I'm pretty pumped to say this, but the pink one is the
Did you
best
take your
one.
Monster with you?
Yeah, same
Yeah,
time.
you're a Monster wanker.
You've got two hands for a reason,
Yeah,
bro.
Oh, fucking hell. The tone has come down drastically since you... And I'll just put my Monster down. That's fucking amazing. But yeah, mango, white Monster. I don't drink the other ones. I'd rather have a coffee at that point, unless it's lying around and it's been handily provided.
Pink, white. I like the green one, the apple one. That bangs.
They do another apple one, don't they? Like a black with an apple on. And that just tastes of
I've not
apple.
tried that, no.
Maybe that's the one for you. You do like the odd tasting ones, evidently, so you might like that one.
Yeah, but the pink one is the goat.
Let us know if you're listening and you drink Monster what you're going for. I also said pretty much fuck every other energy drink, and I'll probably publicly say that. You did say a good contender, which is...
New tonic.
Which
Like
I've only tried one of the flavours. I'm told the other two are better, so I might give that a whirl. The productivity effects definitely work, but for me, you can't really beat Monster.
No, taste-wise, Monster's the best. The only thing with working, Monster makes me need to piss, and a new tonic, because it's not got as much caffeine, it's less liquid. I don't need to piss as much, so...
You should be drinking fluids anyway. I don't know if it should probably be water, right? But, I mean, it is fluids if people are...
Yeah, but I think because I neck it, so it goes down quick.
Yeah.
It makes me need to piss.
We have kind of covered this already, but I wanted to know, what could somebody not learn about Connor from Instagram? You've obviously got quite a big Instagram presence, fairly big, bigger than mine. What could somebody not learn about you on there? Bit of vulnerability.
I'm really trying to think on this because I'm pretty open. I put whatever I'm doing, I put it on social media.
Okay.
I'm pretty fucking simple. Like,
in every definition of
yeah,
the word.
do you know what I mean? Like, so...
Something that I did clock is you can ski, or you were trying to.
I can't ski.
You can't ski?
No, we were travelling in Norway, right? In Tromsø, and you can ski there, right? So, went to give it a go. Fucking hard, mate. I'd never ever done
Can
it.
the missus ski?
Yeah.
So she made you look like a dickhead, basically.
Oh yeah, mate. Made me look a right cunt. But I gave my best shot, and I like speed, yeah. So I was trying to do all the skills and make it all pretty, and I was finding it really hard because I didn't have a lesson. And then just went, I'm gonna fucking send it, and I was just going down. And when I needed to stop, I was just chucking myself on the floor.
So I snowboard. Obviously, I'm obsessed with it. I'm fairly good, but one of my very good friends is a really good skier, and he just puts his head down and just goes in a straight line and then kind of swerves at the end, which is kind of against the point of the holiday for me. But he will just bar crawl, like pings it down, gets there, drinks, pings it down, like been skiing since he was maybe 4 or 5. Is really good. And I'm like, do you not enjoy it? He's like, yeah, I've been skiing for ages. The skiing isn't enjoyable anymore. I'm just literally going to get pissed.
Smart
So
man.
maybe you need to get to that level where you can just use it as a vehicle to get to more food and drink. Maybe that's the motivator for you there.
Maybe that's the one.
Maybe we're
yeah.
onto something. We could do a podcast ski trip.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Let's take this on tour.
You guys up for that? I'd love to see Curtis on a pair of skis. So, what's something, and we've kind of covered this roughly, but the concept of like, for me is a big standout of people mistaking deep issues for surface level issues. So a definition of this is like, I can't stop snacking, I need snack ideas. When the real problem with snacking is they don't enjoy their current physique, so they use that as an outlet for emotion. So rather than dealing with the emotion, they go straight to the snacking. What's maybe something that you've experienced in the past that you thought was something that was surface level that actually was a sort of deeper problem? And I think this is just useful for people to start understanding that, if again they can hear someone that's relatable that is in the coaching space speak about it.
So, I think what this sort of comes down to for me is I was going through a period of time where I just wasn't sleeping, right? Okay. And I was like totally ignoring that, and I was going through the days thinking, why the fuck am I not why have I not got any energy?
Yeah.
Why is my training performance shit? Why am I moody? And what it all sort of boiled down to for me was because this was, I don't know, in the last sort of 12 months, and what it all boiled down to was running a business, wearing a lot of different hats, and I was trying to do way too much at the same time. I was trying to get really good at content, really good at coaching, really good at sales, really good at whatever it may be. So even though I didn't, like, stress shows itself in a lot of different ways, right? And I'm a pretty fucking chilled out dude. So I didn't feel stressed, but my body was saying otherwise. You know, my body's saying, bruh, chill the fuck out.
And you're trying to put more Newtonic and Monster in and just keep working through.
Exactly. It was like a case of, I felt fine. And I was like, why am I not performing at the level that I would be normally? But it was another way of stress coming up and being like, this is the thing. Your body's under stress, even if you still feel happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So then the surface level is sleep. You might have gone to like, how can I get better sleep routines, but rather actually dealing with the stress. Probably one of the things you asked yourself, I'd imagine, was, okay, what can I actually do about this? And that's probably what people can do with themselves. Like, what can I do about this deeper problem? So walk us through what you thought of as ideas and what you then actually started to implement.
Exactly as you said there, you have to, like, the way I look at it, it's like an onion, right? It's got shitloads of different layers.
Like an ogre.
But you've got to peel back and actually discover what the root cause is, right? What the center problem is. And for me, it was a case of, okay, I've got really low energy. Why do I have low energy? Oh, because I'm not actually sleeping particularly well. Well, why am I not sleeping particularly well? Okay, well, I'm on my phone too late because I'm trying, or phone or computer too late because I'm doing work. Okay, well, why am I on my phone so late? So you just have to follow the thread and continuously go down that rabbit hole. And it was hard for me at first because I quite enjoy working. Right? I have that perception of, hard work equals X. But you can't just work hard, you have to work smart at the same time. So I needed to then put better boundaries in place and have that clear cut-off time that's finish work at this time and then turn the computer off, and you don't do anything else out of this time unless it's for X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a little bit like, you know, have you ever seen those magicians that have like the multicoloured things and they pull them out of their sleeves, right? It's a little bit like that, like, okay, I'm not sleeping. Why is that? And you could probably stop at one point and be like, right, I'll deal with this, but you need to keep pulling and actually work out what's at the end of that. Like, probably for you there, it was probably a case of like, I need to have a better routine with my day, actually start programming in the hours where I'm going to be working. So when I get to the end of the day, I actually feel like I've accomplished everything. And there's probably more layers. Well, why do I feel like I need to do that? You could go, right? And I think the deeper people can get on that sort of pulling that magician's like line of what do they use? Is it like it's like a piece of fabric, isn't it? It doesn't matter anyway.
Some
but
shit.
when you get to the end of that, you're like, okay, if I can deal with this deeper stuff, I don't even have to deal with the sleep, because when I deal with that deeper stuff, I'm just gonna want to sleep anyway because I've solved everything else. So I think that's a good learning point for a lot of people that are listening. Is we probably both see it as coaches, like people dealing with the stuff at the start of the string, when there's deeper stuff that would solve all of the stuff that comes before it, right?
100%. People want to take the shortcut, the easy answer, whereas, like you said there, for me it was a case of, right, why am I working all of these hours when I could probably just be more efficient, be more productive, and actually condense that time anyway? Because what I was doing was I was trying to manage. I wasn't trying to manage enough. What I was doing was going, right, I need to do content. I need to do X. I need to do Y. Rather than actually breaking it down and being granular and going, okay, I need to draft content. I need to script content. I need to record content, and giving things the time and space that it actually allowed. And because I was then working more, I was getting less productive as the day went on because I was fucking tired, right? And I'd just be sat there with my fucking dick in my hand doing fuck all, feeling like I was working, you know what I mean?
You said you've really like give yourself some length there. You said my dick in my hand, and it was more up by your head than you.
Well, maybe in my dreams.
Let's not go there. So I've got 5. Pick one or the others. You've got to answer this. If you don't answer and you say neither, you've got to put on your story, Ryan absolutely slaughtered me at golf today. He is the superior man. So if you answer all 5, you haven't got to do that. If you don't, that's the forfeit. Is that fair?
Fucking sound, mate.
Okay, let's go for it. So, detox teas or fat loss jabs? Which one of those two are you picking?
What if I had to take it myself? Or to get rid of?
Yeah, if you... let's go with get rid of. So, Ozempic or detox tea?
They're quite similar, aren't they?
See,
I would actually say I'd get rid of the detox tea.
I would say the same, because I think in certain situations, Ozempic might potentially be beneficial. If somebody's extremely overweight, really struggling with it, and it's becoming like a real health concern, implementing that as well as sustainable habits, they're going to get to the goal quicker, and then they can drop the Ozempic and keep the sustainable habits. Detox tea is fucking useless. There's no scenario where I'm like, maybe try a detox tea. Yeah, you might as well piss your money down the fucking drain. And
yeah, like my thing is neither of them address the root cause, but exactly as you said, right, the Ozempic potentially has its place for some people. It has
study and it does work. There's
detox
teas like Herbalife where
the calorie
there was
burning
literally there's toxic metals in it.
It's fucking terrible.
They're taking the piss. Okay, if we malnourish them and also poison them, they will lose weight. Like, brilliant. Fucking great. There's also the Geordie Shore diet, which is cocaine and alcohol and don't eat any food. That's just genius. About as effective as the detox teas. Probably more enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'd have bare energy as well.
Right, as a Man United fan, City or Liverpool, who are you wanting to win a game? If City are playing Liverpool, who are you rooting for? I'm pretty sure Mark Stratton's a fan of...
He's a Liverpool fan.
So yeah. Whoa!
Do you know what? This is a hard one because...
You can't say that about your coach.
I can. Liverpool is like a big hatred, right? But there's still like begrudging respect there. Man City are just a bunch of cheating bastards.
Oh, God. That's a clip and a half, innit?
I mean, they're getting relegated anyway, so I'll say Liverpool are a way bigger rival, so I'd rather City won than Liverpool, and City are getting everything taken off them anyway. Okay. So fuck them.
This one's probably where you're going to take your forfeit. Your dog or your missus?
Dog. I'll keep the dog.
That was fast!
Mate, I said to you earlier, if you don't love your dog, kiddie fiddler.
But if you don't love your missus, you might be a kiddie fiddler.
Well, that is also true, but, you know, if I take it on paper, he's been here 15 years, she's been here 5, that's a 3x.
I mean, yeah, he's put the time in.
He's put the time and the effort in.
He doesn't answer back.
You know.
Your missus going to rate me after that comment, but I hope she's well. So, number 4, Sunday roast or a pizza?
Which would I choose to go for?
What are you going for?
If it's a proper Italian pizza, I can take that. I don't like Americanized, like greasy pizzas. But if it's a proper Italian, like
Not
thin
a Chicago town,
No.
like a stone baked.
Yeah, I can fuck that.
I still go roast, you know. There's not many things that beat a roast for me.
No,
Pesto's like tapas sort of stuff, that's top spot.
I'd way sooner go for like sushi. Fuck with that.
Asian fusion's like second.
That's a banger. Or Mexican.
I'm not a big fan of Mexican.
Or even just like burgers, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just listed every type of food there.
That would be my top 3.
Tea or coffee?
I like both, but tea is a non-negotiable every single day. 100%.
That surprised me.
And controversial one, Yorkshire biscuit tea with honey.
I'd never even heard about that until you said it.
Fucking unreal.
I like the cherry. I don't drink tea at all, but I like the cherry, like herbal tea when I'm ill. I feel like that with a lamp sip in.
Try the biscuit tea, mate. Put a bit of honey in it with milk. Fucking.
I'm not too sure. So obviously we've just covered Jack Russell. He's probably in the top. He, she, boy or girl?
I've got 2 boys. Yeah.
Okay, they're in the top spot, right? That's what we call a low-hanging fruit, right? Getting your steps in. It's a good thing to implement for clients. What have you implemented with clients that's good low-hanging fruit that people can lads can go away from this podcast and start implementing straight away?
For me, the most important thing, right, is to plan your shit. Because you can have the best intentions in the world, but if you don't actually put something in place when you know when you even intend to do it, it's not going to fucking happen. So take some time every week to sit down 5-10 minutes and go, this is when I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't need to be anything crazy. Right? I'm going to go to the gym X, Y, and Z. Right? I'm going to be off my phone every night at ABC. Right? You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't have a plan to actually implement it and make it a reality, then it's fucking useless. Do you know what I mean?
And I can already hear people being like, well, Connor, I don't have 5-10 minutes. And what I would say to that off the back, and I don't know what you're going to say, I can already see your eyes rolling, is it's going to save you more time than you spend. Like, you're not going to be sat. Who wants to sit at the end of the day when you should be relaxing, thinking like, oh, I've got to do this tomorrow, I've got to worry about this. Whereas if you've got a plan, it takes that away. You can actually enjoy that time. And actually doing things, it'll save you about an hour from 5-10 minutes of planning right.
100%. People do this all the time, right? People procrastinate and make things take way more time than they actually do. Like, we all have differing amounts of time, right? We all do. We work different jobs, we have different lives, different responsibilities, 100%, right? But if you don't make a plan, like you said, things will take way longer, right? Because you just go sit there, right, shall we go to the gym? Maybe in half an hour. Should we do this? Should we do that? Oh shit, I was meant to do this an hour ago, right? You can condense things down massively and actually just audit your time and go, right, this took this amount of time, and you'll free yourself up fucking hours across the week.
And I think a lot of lads think that they need to do more, but sometimes that planning is like, what am I going to stop doing that just isn't helping? Like, I'm going to the gym 7-8 times doing circuits for an hour a week. What happens if I do 3 good, solid training sessions and then I allow those 5 hours to be something else? And like examples like that where people can just save fucking loads of time. Obviously, we started the podcast with a question. What is your question for my next guest?
What are the highest things that you value in your life, and how do you make sure on a week-to-week basis you stay in alignment with those things?
That was a very good question. So I said when we kind of sat down at the start, where can people find you? Obviously, we spoke about the podcast at the beginning. You've got sort of 5 minutes. If people have liked listening to you, which I hope they have, I enjoy listening to you. You've got quite a good tone. Where can people find you? How can people get involved with you?
Best place to find me is on Instagram at Connor Sleeman Fitness. And
spell it out for them so they know.
C-O-N. Yeah, if
Sleeman spelled, because people will potentially struggle that.
S-L-E-E-M-A-N Fitness.
Yeah, I hope they can spell that.
I hope you can hear that and spell that. Right, and that's the best place to find me. You can find me on Facebook too, but shit normally ends up in the fucking hidden message requests,
disappears.
doesn't it? You find it 6 months
just
later.
Stopped using that. Like,
It's an old person platform, isn't it? My dad still loves it. And I'm like, it's fucking useless. You just get all the Karens on.
This is what the grandkids are doing at the park. Like, great. I hope they enjoy
Those
it.
kids are playing football again. Fucking bastards. But yeah, if you've listened along this long, you've not thought I was a boring bastard, you want to hear a little bit more, you're more than welcome to drop me a message on Instagram. And if you drop me a DM that just says fat loss, I'll send you away with a free guide to lose 3 to 5 kg in 30 days. No strings, you just take that, implement. If you do that, you will get yourself started on your results.
Yeah, no strings. Sounds like a win-win.
No strings, just handcuffs.
Oh, what a way to finish. Yeah, I've really enjoyed speaking to you. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
And I hope people enjoyed that. We will definitely have you on again at some point, and we'll go when I'm not dieting and get merry.
Rock
Pleasure.
and roll.
Thank
Pleasure,
you.
mate. Appreciate it.